Welcome to the Intuition Hour with Katt Nicholson, where our wonderful host Katt encourages each and every one of you to build your own intuition, navigate your own connection with spirit, and tap into the deep beauty within yourself. Enjoy the Intuition Hour with Katt Nicholson.
Hello, everyone, and happy Monday. Welcome to the Intuition Hour. I am your host, Katt Nicholson. I am so excited to be with all of you today. I know many of you are coming over from Mark Hessen's Astrology Hour, and I know I've heard already how wonderful it was, and I'm super excited to say that he is with us today. So hello. Good morning to all of you. We're on YouTube, of course. Today is September the 8th. 2025, I think. It is noontime here in steamy Florida, and I am really looking forward. This, of course, is my favorite season we're coming into. I can't tell you all. Hello, good morning, Crystal. It's nice to see you. Sahar, good morning to you. And 2025, I think so too, right? I mean, it's like, okay, how many months do we have left? No, I'm teasing. It's definitely a year, and I can't tell you all how very much I'm an Aries moon, as many of you know, so I'm like super excited when that Pisces moon shows up, especially this eclipse. This full moon it's magnificent, but it's also full of emotion, as you all are, I'm sure, experiencing, and as well as that little bit of a spice. If I could think about C.A. Brooks and her Pisces energy for a minute, there's always that little bit of spice. And sometimes with all of that loving energy that I heard Mark shared on his show, there's that little bit of making sure that our intuition, we are tapped in. We are much more alert, I believe, psychically than we are maybe in real time. So we have an excuse to be wandering about. We also feel, I believe that many topics have been coming up for all of you, really, but of course, for some of you listening, I believe that we will take a look at that, Crystal, very soon. For all of you in the chat room this morning, I am going to be taking your questions. I feel the psychic energy is extremely high. I'm not sorry that we're going into an Aries moon soon. I'm sure one of the astrologers in the room can share when, but it should be soon. I know that. I love that. And Mark, talking about the signs following each other and how one plays into the other or one supports the other, and we always get this. So again, with all that Pisces energy out there, as a 29-degree Saturn baby. Oh, 11:37. Okay, we are only a couple hours left. Thank you, Mark, for that. I appreciate that. Because I'm always looking forward, as you know, to that Aries moon, especially with that 29 Saturn. I am super psyched to be able to be with you. Maybe more I'm definitely tapping into the intuitive realm right now, the healing energy. I think you are also very willing, more than ever before. There are so many things out in the world that we have to be a little cautious of taking on. And some of that comes along with, as we heal, we never really believe that we're going to get through a certain situation. Denise, I adore you. I'm happy you're here. Some of us go through these relationship challenges or changes, or we learn from everyone that we connect with from time to time, in that we're being really forced to take a look at the shadow sides of ourselves and of course the brighter sides of ourselves. And so we learn through time how to release so many feelings that we have gathered or uncovered in a past relationship, or maybe even a past life, a karmic relationship, especially with the Pisces energy. I could tell a lot of you are going back to the beginning of time in your relationships and how you arrived here against what started there and things like this. So I love that. And I feel like there's a lot of releasing even going back to the topic of how our roots were grounded from the beginning of time and what we've learned growing up and all of these things, where do we leave? And I could see this energy of this. I visualize you as a person just kind of walking along this journey, and carrying some bags and having a lot of on your back and just releasing one at a time along this journey. And this is a great visualization time. Even through today, I feel very excited about releasing some of this baggage because of this recent eclipse, because of this moon. It's really a closing of a chapter, or maybe many chapters for some of you. I could tell this is going on, and asking yourselves, why would you? Of course, the phone is going to, everyone wants me during showtime. I love this. People have known me for 50 years, actually, or maybe almost 60 now. In any case, the bottom line is this: we have this visualization of letting go of what can you do tonight for just a few minutes, and of course you have that Aries energy to support you now moving forward. It's a new beginning. We get to experience, what are we dropping off in these bags? We get to experience certain things that we've always believed from childhood, or maybe even beyond. We get to release some guilt. We get to release the fear. We get to release the whatever it was that someone made you feel bad about. And so we go along in our human distortion of what has occurred throughout our lives. We get to say today, tonight, let's begin anew. And honestly, you will feel different from yesterday to today. I know that's sometimes hard to believe, but I guarantee you your energy is going to pick up. I could feel it. I love what is your sacred truth as you come into this new time, this new beginning, against what it was that some human agenda instilled in you, or you really decided to maybe buy into certain things along the way. I talk about upbringing. I talk about religious beliefs. I talk about how we bring ourselves away from that sometimes, because we have to really take responsibility for ourselves. Can we heal and reconnect with our own truth through this time? Today's the perfect day to do it. Tonight's the perfect day. I also really believe wholeheartedly that with love and compassion, as I know you all listen to Mark Housen today talk about love and compassion, because sometimes, how many of you have kicked and screamed knowing that your soul knows the right and wrong about everything going on? And how many of you believe, hello, Terry Campbell, good morning to you. Thank you for being with us today. Terry is a 1-2-Listen psychic astrologer as well. It's nice to see you. And all of you coming in, I will be saying hello to all of you soon. And what does your soul know to be true? Have any of you been around people or have to deal, and I know the answer already, but if you have a story you want to share, please share. Have you been with people who you have sat in a room, or you have sat in a situation with others and you absolutely knew how very much it went against the grain of who you are? And maybe the rebel in you is happy to say, I know some people listening that aren't here in the room today who are the perfect example of that rebel, the fun, the exciting, the enormous way that they are able to just speak their truth without fear, or without not caring about consequences, all of these things. And I know some of this is out there, so, and listening today, so and I know you know who you are as well, but I'm shocked at times, and I'm sure you are too. Have you ever really thought, what part of your spiritual power, where can you embrace it and totally take it back from here and know that you're doing the right thing without that fear of being judged, And I think it's very, very important time coming out away from this Pisces full moon, coming into this time that Virgo energy is a little persnickety, it really wants to start picking you apart a little bit, or maybe you want to pick things apart, but wouldn't it be nice to just embrace the fullness of that moon and say, For now on, I am going to stand by my truth. I'm going to embrace what I have. I want to take some deep breaths. I definitely want to gather myself. When you release these things along your path or your journey, and like I said, when I see you releasing, my visual this morning was just get rid of the baggage, drop it off at the side of the road, make your path beautiful, look ahead. And then as you move forward, it's amazing what happens when you create this space moving forward. And how many things, who has had this? Let me, and thank you for reminding me. She just reminded me that Uranus retrograde. Somebody said, well, you got to put your freak flag down for a minute. And I'm like, what? Uranus is definitely going retrograde. And we have to kind of behave for a little bit. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know about the freak flag going down, but okay. I definitely feel it is. Yes, I believe that about the reflection. And I also believe going back into those conversations, those communications. How many of you have been startled by what you hear and have to say something because, and I think this is very Uranus and Gemini as well, and now we, of course, okay, so you see something online, you can't hold your tongue, where before you could. And now with Uranus and Gemini now retrograde again, it's like they're asking you to kind of take a step back before you speak too much truth. So I'm even aware of that today because I would like to say so much more about certain human distortions that come from our upbringing or our religious backgrounds or any of these things. But I want to keep it upbeat. I want to keep it positive. And I also want you to know that you are so accepted for who you are, and more in the world, you can go out and be who you are. And so I want to come in. I'm definitely ready. Somebody just said, Pamela, I love this. I don't know if it's in the eclipse, but I feel that shaking things up is a big thing right now. I do see this. I feel very strongly about that. It's like shaking out, just like leaving the trash on the, like, and I say trash, whatever the baggage is, whatever the proper terminology is, like just emotional baggage, mental, really distorted human thinking because of what we were told and what we no longer want to believe, because being in, and I think the Aries energy gives us enough boldness to really come in and say, look, you don't need to deal with that anymore, And somebody says, somebody asked me today, are you feeling okay? Because of a little emotional thing, I guess, over the moon. And I thought, okay, well, I felt, wait, what happened again? This is what happens when we are in an intuitive space, much more than in a space of maybe more realistic day-to-day living, or practical, physical existing, I was like in such a psychic space, I forgot what I was even upset about, to tell you the truth. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was so kind of this person to follow up, and I must have had an emotional moment. And I'm like, oh no. And I'm thinking to myself, it's not even like I forgot. I'm just like, okay, we can't dwell on anything. And I'm trying to be compassionate and understanding for, this wonderful human who follows up on me a day later. And everything's already changed, because we want to release that. And that visualization really helped me, just releasing the baggage and now starting anew. Terry says, I had a guy insist in a comment on my lunar eclipse short that I was wrong. The lunar eclipse was in Aquarius. Well, with absolute authority. I love that, because there are so many incorrect things. And this is another thing I want to say. That has me a little bit, again, human distortion, but it's inhuman distortion with a lot of these things that are happening. Please be cautious. Of course, we can't negate the opportunity that AI is offering everyone and all these other things, but it is so dangerous. And there are so many stories out there about it now that we have to be so cautious about. So I remind you of that today, because I've seen a lot of, again, human distortion, inhuman distortion, whatever the agenda is, whatever the answers are, like out of the ordinary. And if you even Google the degree. That's why I always say, ask my favorite, astrologers who are, of course, always with us week to week. The bottom line is, I don't even, and I know this is like a really firm statement, but when it comes to planetary alignment, when it comes to psychic energy, when it comes to all of these things, please be careful, because it is a spiritual energy. It is a spiritual, divine, whatever, God, I say I hear the voice of God. I really, truly, through the Holy Spirit, know when that's true and when it isn't. You cannot find your higher power and a higher spiritual source from AI. And it's so important that you understand. I believe, Terry, even in Google this morning, they told me that we were in some other, moon or whatever, and it just came up on my feed through some accident. It wasn't even anything I would be researching, because I just try to stay within the psychic realm of what I'm getting from what feels authentic and divine to me. And so it's so crazy. I saw, what was it? What the moon was in, not Aries, the Pisces. Oh, Aquarius. Never mind. Same thing. I saw that online this morning. So he probably just Googled something or whatever it was, and out comes the feed, and that's what he grabbed, Also, I definitely want to remind you all that being in a spiritual community, having a spiritual life, is very, very untouchable to anyone else but yourself and your higher power. And I believe that going that direction, like truly surrendering to that, truly believing it exists, working in a spiritual realm instead of a material, of the fake world of whatever else is out there. So please keep a boundary for yourselves. I think more than ever before, try to release some of your maybe outdated notions, your outdated relationship energy, even though there's so much to learn from your journey there. You've learned everything, just like Mark was talking about the planets being side to side, or, one after the other, how they all work in sync. Your relationship journeys all work in sync. Sometimes we have to repeat lessons over and over again before we get it right. Sometimes we get to do it once, forever and ever. And there are very few people who have that blessing. Sometimes we have to learn these lessons, or whatever it may be. Sometimes we have to understand that our parents are in a generation that is so very different than our own, and our children are in another generation that is so very different than our own. And we have to take all of these things into consideration when we're out in the world day to day, And so let's take a look here. I'm coming to answer your questions. Thank you for letting me rant a little bit. How you can heal and reconnect with your personal spiritual truth is really what it's all about. Terry says she admired how fearlessly he went out on that limb and proceeded to saw it off. But that's what happens. I think it's very, very true that sometimes we have to really think about, if you're participating in something, it's just like any of the spiritual teachings, or I can't tell you how often someone will call and say, wow, I just went to this class. It was supposed to be empowering. It kind of cut my legs off, it made me feel so small. This is not what we're here to do. We are here to empower each other, not disempower each other. We are really having to be much more cautious about who we're connecting to, because we don't really know. There's a lot of authenticity left in the world. I don't want to make it like that, but really make sure you remember and remind yourselves why you're here and what is out there that is so much bigger than us, and that is the God energy. It is easy with Uranus and Gemini. Thank you, Terry, to access that humor and lightness. And sometimes, that humor and lightness, also, we can have some fun with a lot of that energy. Just think about the kind of bags that you could pick up now, because your back's, you're no longer carrying that other baggage, and you get to replace it with something brand new. I was thinking about that too. And so, oh, what other little tidbit can I learn and carry? Or what else can I take on and bring with me ahead? That kind of thing. So we do have a little bit of that as well. Hopefully it is a lot more fun. So Pamela was saying about shaking it up, rewriting the playbook. Aries moon loves to give you that fresh start. Somebody told her, this is what I'm talking about. She's been buzzed by a medium claiming that she's going to ruin if she doesn't contact her. That is absolute hogwash, you know? Protect yourselves from this stuff. It's amazing what one line, one sentence, one message that we see, or a fake AI ad. Sometimes I'm crazy. I'm always going to Steven and going, is this true? Like the roller coaster that dips everybody in the water sideways. And he's like, honey, this is AI. Can't you see? You know, for those of us who live in a different space, in a different universe, it's hard, it's more challenging to really pick it up in these real times. So just be careful. Of course, Pamela, that's not true. You are definitely not coming to ruin. We know this. Your challenges are going to be overcome. I do see actually a little bit of miraculous energy around you and a new beginning. So it's okay to take something different on ahead. And I really love that. So let me come in and start taking your questions of desire here. And I'm super excited about that. I thought this was I want to thank Serena for her visual today because it is definitely what we chose together, but she's always in sync with the energy of the moment. And you know, water is abundant, and allowing yourselves to flow sometimes, to feel your emotions, to embrace them, to become more aware and accept them. I think a lot of that has to do with how we're manifesting even our money, our finances, our abundance, whatever it is we're trying to bring into our lives. Letting that flow through us and our emotions is okay. We don't have to negate our feelings. We could just be with them and embrace them. And the more you learn to do it and the more you learn to accept certain things, the more your abundance is going to flow as well. So it's a great time for that. All right, let me see who's first up here. Good morning, Michelle, Quelly. Good morning to you. Big cold front in Florida, 3 to 5 degree drop. We're so excited. It's all hot, but temperatures going down is a good thing for balance. Sahar, we're definitely gonna get it. I believe that too. Now let me see. All right. Sorry guys, let me just see. I'm moving a little slower on your questions because everyone is jumping at me at once. So I think this is what I'm gonna do. Who did I? Well, let me tell you, I'm getting 5 of you out of. All right, so let me just do this. Crystal, let me answer you first. I'm going to go in order this morning, guys, and you'll all get an answer here. I just want to make sure that I'm separating the energy. I could tell you're all so in sync today, and I love that. But Tara, hi, good morning to you too. All right, let me just see. I'm going to answer Crystal, and Michelle, I'm coming to you. Okay. Kind of rewriting my law and order over here because I just want to go where my psychic energy is the high. My left ear is like just crystal. Okay, let's take a look. She asked if she would ever get back. Hi, Katt. Will love to know if my ex and I or love is still connected. Will we ever speak to each other again? The fall is definitely the best season. Honey, your ex looks angry for, more than one reason, of course. And right now, even though I never say never, and believe me when I tell you, I do believe there's going to be some sort of conversation, communication, not in the now. There is definitely something literally under his skin that is angering him. I do believe he has to process and deal with some of that, and I feel like right now is not the time. I do wonder if he has a really difficult time with boundaries or guidelines or restriction, anything like this. I feel like he's talk about a rebel. And he needs time. I also see someone around him is not well, and there's some health issues that are surrounding him, or somebody else's health issue, but also in himself. He has to really stabilize himself mentally through this process. I do not believe that. I do not believe that this is the end. I will not say that, where you're never going to have a conversation again. You're never going to connect again. None of this. I don't know if he's been angry with you, honey, or after, what I'm seeing, but he is definitely having some anger issues. I also believe that he is fearful of anyone who sees him. And so that's a problem as well. I believe you have to give it some time. I do think that I don't feel like it's going to be overnight by any way, shape, or form. And I think you have to be patient about it. I really want to encourage you to let it go and surrender it. And the minute or moment that you do this is closer to another connection. I do see some celebration and joy ahead, but that's later. So you're going to go through this period of anguish, which you're going through now, and I understand as well, and so is he. And then there will be some kind of reunion or reconciliation. When that time happens, please come back and we'll look beyond that. I don't want to, because it's very new and very early for me to even say this as an outcome. So I want to make sure we build up some momentum. So give it a few weeks and you come back and then we'll take another look, okay? Because after that first reconnect, they're not giving me anything beyond that. That's actually the outcome in the now. So we'll wait for that and then we'll let the story unfold a little more. How's that? But yes, I'm not saying no. 100% no. And I believe this is going since summer, maybe even before, but the back and forth energy. But I still feel there's going to be a determination or some kind of moment in time where there's going to be a reconciliation, okay? I hope this makes sense. I think that this is one of those things when we talk about, and for a lack of better, I say past, karmic connection, but I don't limit my word to that word karma, because karma can mean 100 different things, 1,000 different things. What I mean is there is some connection, not just from this lifetime, but from other lifetimes with you. And that's why you're having a really difficult time, really, letting it go. And whatever your higher power is, I think that your connection with the higher power, your connection with the divine, that can really help you manage some of this. Because somebody like that is definitely difficult to, May, before summer. Yeah, I felt this going back. But he's a pain in the, excuse my French, but you get the point. He's stubborn. He is very stubborn. But I don't know if the anger makes any sense, but I do feel that. And if he feels he could, back and forth, I believe things started even, they may have been perfect and then just kind of started going downhill at one time, but it was a very big shift. Okay, let me see who is. Michelle, where are you? Because she said something very significant and exactly. I am so grateful and so aligned with your decision. Shelley says she quit her job 2 weeks ago because it was absolutely against the grain of who she is. And I know that deeply. And I'm so, so happy about this in my spirit and my just body, mind, and spirit. I'm really overjoyed. I do think one step at a time is great. And let me look ahead for you, okay? I feel like it was the best thing you could ever do for your future, if that helps. I think October. Okay, I want to do this psychically, and then we'll go ahead and tap into the rest of it. October is going to be a very special time. There is a woman who's going to help you tremendously. Somebody's going to give you a tip or something, comfort, mother energy, but maybe not mother. Very maternal person, very caring. You're going to get a opportunity. I actually see her in an apron. I don't know if the visual is because she's in an apron for real, like a restaurant or something, but the bottom line is it is going to be a very good journey ahead. I love that you're affirming what I was saying about the kicking and screaming thing. When something is against that grain of who you really are, you just absolutely know it's time to make a change. Do we have to make sacrifices sometimes to make those changes? 100% yes. But do we get to understand ourselves more fully and really trust our judgment? And I believe the answer for you is yes all the way. And I'm thrilled to hear all this. Let me see. What I see here. Tara, you're being very quiet today. All right, we're going to take a look at Michelle. I should say Shelley. So you're going to go through this moment of fear because sometimes we do things that aren't good for us, but they're great for everybody else, whatever the sacrifices we'd like to make for others and stuff like that. So you're going to go through a little period of fear or confusion, and then it's going to get super clear. So I'm saying October, so hang in there for a few weeks. I do believe you're going to have a dream also that's going to set you on, it's going to give you clues or validation or some kind of direction, something like this. You're going to get an idea. I know you're in fear, and I think that, you may come back at another time and say, look, I'm really afraid it's taking too long or something, but it's not. You may see day to day that it's taking a little long, but in the reality of it is it's a few weeks is nothing, making this big change. So at first, yeah, there's a major, major breakthrough for you. No, ma'am, you did not. There's a major, major breakthrough for you in October. And it does happen between the time the sun is in Libra and the time the sun is in Scorpio. I love you too. She's afraid of the unknown. That's okay. And you get to dream. The bottom line is this: we turn this fear into what your next dream is, because you're a person that actually accomplishes dreams. And so you just need that one huge moment and shift of that surrendering to God's will, if you will, to really, really trust and believe that this universe wants happiness for you. We are all faced with fear and challenged in the face of the unknown. We all have this fear, it's scary but if we dwell on this, you do manifest I know you're a big manifester. I've watched you do it proudly. And you're going to do it again. Sometimes we lose our little journey, so get back on the road. Have the images of you releasing this as just another one of those big backpacks on your shoulders, and just know you're going into a much more clear terrain. And at first, you have this little bit of fear that we say. But it's in those moments that you learn to surrender that to your higher power and just really let it happen. My feeling is your road looks so beautiful and bright, that we can paint a much prettier picture now. You're doing the right thing. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what you do next. And maybe it is going to come through a dream, and then you're going to learn how to surrender a little bit. I think writing it down every day, you have your own way because I've seen you accomplish so much over time. I think you'll know what to do. And I feel that it has to come from you and that connection. But I am here to tell you that you will definitely clear the smog, okay? Or the fog, whatever you say. And I don't think you've delivered a more happy piece of news. Because, sometimes Mama Cat comes out and I'm like keeping an eye on everybody. And I felt a little bit that way. So I feel great for you. You come back and let me know, okay? Tara, I love that you went from location 1 to location 2. I could tell. I felt like you were quiet, so I'm glad you were paying attention. You were paying attention to the road. I could feel your energy like leaving and return. So I'm happy you're back. Let me just pull something for you here. All right, here we go. I do think it was an emotional weekend for many. And now we're back in action. We will be even more so soon. Coming out of this. Tara, you're definitely going through some healing too. And you can manifest with water more than ever right now. Actually, I love this. There's going to be some changes around you. And I don't know if you're going to have like a fountain around you if you ever go to the water, if you bring even a little fish tank, I hate to say. Because of the kids, I don't want them, I don't want to influence, but I'm telling you, water around you right now is the best, in a physical form. So whether it's fish tank, stream, like little waterfall, fountain, anything having to do with water is bringing manifesting and abundance into your world. So, and I'm really, really hoping that you do. I don't know if you've been connecting to water more. I don't know if it makes any sense yet, but it will. Abundance is going to flow to your life in an easier and softer way. I love that too. All right, please come back and let me know, okay? Annika, have safe travels. You have a big new opportunity coming. And please let me know. I also feel like you're going to start attracting what you want around not only income, but people. That's all it has to do with abundance, like an income, new money like this coming in, financial gain, and also meeting someone that you're very, very connected to. And I love that. There's new beginnings all over. So please be well. And I think that even if you're under the weather about anything, I see healing. I feel good about you. I do hope that helps. Okay, Tara said she has a giant fish tank. Maybe you're going to put something new in that fish tank, but I definitely feel it. And it's ready for renewal. Okay, good. I love that. Please do. I could visualize that around you. There is some, and I know these things sound silly when we share and we connect about it, but psychically, I know that fish tank brings you abundance. And I think something new in there brings more new stream of income as well. Okay? Please come back and share and take a little picture if you want to share here. That would be wonderful when you're done with your renewal. Okay. Laura, it's so nice to see you. I'm happy to see you as well. Thank you for coming in this morning. Let me see who I'm missing. I feel like I missed somebody up top, so I want to take a look. Okay, we have to look at Charlie. Okay, let me see. Randy, I'm coming back to you now. Denise said the fall is the best season. I agree. I love that Jean just said things are picking up speed. All right, now hold on, guys. We have to look at Charlie first. And then we'll I'll keep moving towards you guys. Charlie had some things, little lumps, and we just want to take a quick peek on him. Have you noticed anything? Randy, I don't know if you're still with us, but have you noticed anything that have they grown at all? Have they stayed the same? I just want to make sure he's doing okay. We're going to do a quick check on him. All right, here we go. We're just making sure he's okay. Okay, they're not as big, but they had grown. Okay, we got it. And I'm glad you're still here. Here we go. Honey, he's looking pretty good. So far, so good. Are you seeing the vet again within the month? I feel like 4 weeks. I would like for you to have another check with the doctor. I do believe there's going to be someone that can really help. Of course, he's a veterinarian. I think Charlie should be seen in about 4 weeks for another measure if you don't have another plan, or within 4 weeks. I'm not worried. I just feel like there's something they could do either to comfort him or just make sure they're staying under control, okay? I would really appreciate you doing that. I don't know if you're hearing me, but let me know how you feel about that. And I hope that helps. Okay, now let me take a look. I do have some people in line. For those of you coming in, good morning. I'm so happy that you're here. We're working our way through, so I definitely will be there as I can, okay? All right, let's take a look. I wanted to go to Catherine quickly. Here we go. Here you are. Happy to report my mom and I got through COVID, and Dad got to meet his new medical team this weekend past. I got to meet one in particular. Lara says that Irishmen do not give away anything. Let's take a little peek. Brendan. All right, here we go. Randy, I think that it will just help you. You know, he'll have something to say, and I believe that's him. So go ahead and let him be seen again within the next month. Make sure everything's on the up and up, and see what he has to say. I'm not worried. I feel like he's stable, you know? So that's good. I almost feel one of them, well, we'll see what the veterinarian says. Of course, I can't give medical advice, but I do believe one of them may have to be dealt with. But it's okay. It's safe. He's safe, okay? All right. It would just make him maybe a little more comfortable. But this is in the future, not in the now. Okay. Now let's take a look. So go ahead and get him seen just to have a little checkup for now, okay? All right, now let me come back here to Catherine's guy. Brendan. I think in a way, when someone's not giving too much up, when you first meet, after everything we've learned over the years and wisdom that we've gathered around men or women who move too quickly up the front, I think it's a good sign. I think I'd rather choose someone, especially for you, you're sensitive, or for any of you who are here in relationship. You really want to look at the good aspects of someone being a little more cautious and not just going full on, I kind of like it. But let's take a peek. Looks like an air energy to me. I have a combination of air and fire, but I do think it was an instant attraction. Or you were attracted to each other. I want to say. The thing is, I definitely feel that you have to be cautious with him. Honey, I feel like he's been connected to someone else. So we'll see in time. I obviously there was a physical connection, a visual connection, this kind of thing. But I also feel like he's been a little sidetracked for some time. So let's see what happens moving forward. But I feel like if he was available, he would definitely be the guy to make a move. He doesn't seem available to me fully. And if he shows availability like that, please remember what I'm saying, okay? I do believe there is someone else coming for you, though. And I will say this, within the next 3 months, I see a major breakthrough in a new relationship and a new journey that's going to be fantastic. Someone who is extremely close to his family. Now, if in 3 months' time, this gentleman, Brendan, is out of a relationship or perhaps even going through some kind of ending of one, then maybe that's a different story. So I never want to close and slam doors. I don't slam doors shut, but I do want to say, I do feel somebody who is totally available and free for you within the next 3 months, okay? So I do hope that helps. I can't help but feel like he's divided with time with another person. So, and that, we'll see what plays out now. I'm not denying the attraction though, okay? I know it's very difficult when our babies, our friends or our pets get older, and I'm going through a little bit of that myself right now. So my heart is with you and Charlie, and my Lulu's been giving me a run for it too right now. So believe me, I'm cherishing days and weeks, whatever, hours. I really am aware. So I totally understand. Okay, let's take a look here. Good morning, Lynn. Let me see who's next. I'm trying to go a little bit. Laura, let me say this psychically. I do believe that you're going to pass, but I feel like somebody has to help. There is a man who's going to correct the problem or give you a clue on how to correct the problem, and then you'll be able to get it through. It says it within a week. Like, nothing's going to stop you from correcting it. I mean, I'm getting a lot of 7, so to me it's 7 days. But it's also, it could be 7 hours. You know what I mean? Let me just take a peek. I do think one person is going to be the answer to helping. And I hope that helps. You spoke to a lot of people. Somebody's going to have an answer for you. For sure. I just want to take a look and see if they can give me any clue. Honestly, though, it's going to happen. I actually feel like, Damn, that has been a difficult process with that vehicle. I know, I could see it, Laura, believe me. I feel somebody sitting behind a tall counter, like in a service station. I definitely feel that for some reason. And I hope that helps. He's older. Yeah, I figured he did. I could tell. Okay, Laura, let me just come back. Let me do something. I may have an idea, but we'll have to come back to it at a later. I'll write you, okay? I have an idea. But there is a gentleman that's an older gentleman, a little heavy set, sitting behind a tall counter at a service station. I don't think it's far from home. It's going to take the right person, and no, that's the problem. Once it happens, it'll happen. But a lot of this is because of the situation and the healing that has to still be done with, like, what the, you know what I mean, the family. So it's kind of tied together that there's a little stress, okay? There is someone that will definitely have an easier answer than you think. That's how I feel. Okay. All right, everybody. One more thing. Yeah, it'll be easier. And I know you're aligned with what I'm saying. Okay, thank you for that. Somebody asked me, Joni's going to have another grandbaby. I'll take a quick peek. Of course, I can't give any medical advice. We just want to make sure everything's on the up and totally aligned. Congratulations on the baby. I love that. Oh, yeah. I think there's going to be a little Libra energy in that baby. But in any case, I love that this is happening. And I don't see, when is the 15th? You know, they're telling me 6 days. I guess we'll be prepping. Yeah, 7 already. Okay, honey, everything looks good. She may start it may start before. So let's see what happens. But let's just say, because I have 6 days, but that's, 1 day before. We'll be getting ready to run. All right, you let us know how everything is. Everything looks fantastic, okay, sweetie? Really. It really does. All right, you come back and share and let us know how everything is. It's so interesting that there may be a little surprise right before, so you come back and let us know how everybody is, okay? All right, everybody, thank you so much for listening today. Have an amazing week. I know it's a big week. Enjoy, and thank you for being here always. Serena, thank you for being our producer. Everyone, you take care. Thank you so much. So grateful that you're with me. Bye, everybody. Don't forget to like or subscribe, okay? And subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye now.